The things that you have in your heart that you think are impossible are often just milestones waiting to get accomplished if you can push those limits. Everything was impossible until somebody else did it. So you can either hang around people that tell you it can be done, or hang around those that inspire possibilities. Welcome to the Inspiring Possibilities Podcast. Weekly interviews with entrepreneurs, artists, those that inspire possibilities. And I'm your host, Julian Marion. All right, welcome to the Inspiring Possibility Podcast, and I have my man, Coach Knox, Coach K Knox. Succeed against all odds, Knox.
Yes, sir.
Welcome, Kevin. Welcome.
Hey, man. Thank you, man. I appreciate you putting me on your platform, man. I'm honored, man. I'm with the big homie right now. You know what I'm saying?
So for some of you guys that don't know, Kevin is my writing coach. So I've written a book before, and it was just like me. And I had followed different advices and just kind of like wrote the book, and it was really about getting something out. Like I just didn't want to have this thing inside of me and be stopped, right? I was just like, and all the different reasons why somebody does not write a book, for example, right? And again, this episode is not about writing a book. I'm just letting you guys know how I got in touch with Kevin, and how our relationship, got closer. So for me, I wrote a book before, and it was just all about me, and I self-published, did all that kind of stuff. But I knew that I wanted to kind of take it to the next level with the next book, and made him connected, and we worked together for the Get It Out book, and the process was just amazing, especially the depth that we went into to be able to really get the chapters and sub-chapters and actually the flow of of the book. So he's amazing. He has a lot of things to share. His stories, if you find him online, you will hear more. Here we might touch about a couple of topics inside of the story, but yeah, here we go. I'm done bragging now. We can we can get to it.
Yeah, man.
All right, so Kevin, for those that don't know you, right? Who are you, and what do you do?
Man, my name's Kevin L Knox, man. Most people know me as Coach Knox. I'm a 6-figure book writing coach, and it's my passion and my mission to help aspiring authors and entrepreneurs make impact and income with their story and their message. Simple and plain, And so I believe a lot of people have a story. I believe a lot of people have a message, and I do believe that there's value in the perspective that someone has. You know what I'm saying? Like, because people are like, oh, well, everybody got a story like that, or everybody has a message like that. And that's true. That's why we have so many books, right? But here's the thing. What makes every book unique is the perspective. And there is always value in someone's perspective. And so, my life was altered and changed because I heard the perspective of somebody's story and their message. And then that influenced me. And then now today I share my story and my message, you know what I'm saying? And to help others do the same. So I do believe it's value and perspective. So that's what I do, man. And it's an honor to work. Like, it's been an honor to work with you. You know what I mean? Because, even like you said in the intro, we had to do a deep dive, you know what I'm saying? And we dug deep to be able to help people be able to see a different side of things, you know what I'm saying, of how they need to get out things in order for them to get out their dreams, they get out what's inside of them. There's some other areas, negative that they might need to get out or visit. But see, that's a perspective that not everybody might think about it like that. They might just be so focused on getting a dream out that they don't focus on the negativity that they need to get out. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I'm so passionate about being able to do that. Yep. So that's what I do, brother.
That's awesome. And as we were saying that, like I was like thinking of like, do we want to go into Kevin's story, or do we want to go into some of the block and obstacles, because I'm thinking of like the audience, right? And the people listening, and a lot of times those are, entrepreneurs, speakers, and people that kind of want to they have something that they want to do, but they're stopping. So I'm gonna go this angle, and then if we need to come back, we'll come back. Sure. Right? So talk to me about, because you've worked with like a lot of different people, and that's kind of like the area that you're focusing on, right? Which is like writing a book and monetizing the book, right?
Yep.
Monetizing not for the heck of like making money, but it's because like when you write a book, you become really more of an expert inside that field, and therefore you can make a greater impact by providing a course, by providing coaching and so forth.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like your journey so far as a writing coach, right?
Mhm.
What have you seen as an obstacle for those that say, raise their hand, say, hey, I want to write, and
Mhm.
those actually complete? Like what's
Oh
that?
yeah, I mean, you have a variety. Like you have some people who they have an idea, and sometimes they feel like their idea might not be good enough.
Mm.
You have some people who just simply just don't know how to start. You have some people who start, but then they encounter some form of writer's block, right? Then you have some people who, they've started, they have their idea, like they feel pretty good, but then they don't know how to properly package all of the ideas that they have or how to craft their story and craft their message, right? To be able to convey their point. And so the thing is that your message, your brand is your messaging. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that a lot of times when we can help people craft their story as well as their message, we can get their brand to be consistent. And now that their brand is consistent, guess what? Now, when we take that book and we turn that book into a course, or we turn that book into a coaching program, or we turn that book into a podcast, guess what? Everything of your business is now consistent. You see what I'm saying? And so that's one of the things that you cannot be able to properly succeed in other areas, in my opinion, if you are an aspiring speaker or a coach or anything of that sort, without first having your messaging down packed. And I think that that's probably the greatest obstacle is like, yo, how do I properly craft my story and my message?
Got it. So you feel like it's people being able to actually get their their message down and not just be just
Mhm.
all over the place with
Yeah, because like
every.
there's a lot of people that like their messaging is so sporadic. Oh, I help people do this and I help people do that. And I can do this and I can talk on this and I can talk on that. Nah, like where are you an expert in? You know what I'm saying? You just because you can do all things doesn't mean that you should be doing all things. What is the one thing that you are an expert in? You know what I'm saying? Because when someone comes to you, they want that guaranteed result of you solving their problem. And you are supposed to be the expert that provides the solution. You know what I'm saying? So when I come
Right.
to you on a specific thing, like think about it, like Walmart has a whole lot of stuff you can get in Walmart, but when I go shopping at Walmart, I want what I want at that moment. I don't need everything in Walmart. I have a specific thing in mind that I need. You know what I'm saying? So that's how we have to be for our clients and our customers.
Got it. So I've seen a lot, because I've been in the entrepreneur space for a long time. So writing a book is always something that entrepreneurs want to do, right?
Mhm.
I know many, 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 many that when you ask them, they're still like, oh yeah, I'm still writing a book. I'm still writing a book. I'm still writing a book, right?
Yeah.
And that's like years. I'm talking about years, right? That people have not are still writing the book, right?
Yeah.
So why is that? Like, why do some people just like are always in the I'm still writing the book?
Procrastination, you know what I'm saying? Um, and just also the lack of knowledge of how to do it. The lot of and sometimes it can be also accountability. I
Mm.
always see for me, every book that I've ever wrote, I came out within 2 weeks time period or less. And
Talking about
people
the writing or the outline
like the
and
whole writing of the book.
wow.
And a lot of people always ask me, yo, how do you do it with such ease? And I said, well, I got to be honest. First, it's mindset. So there was a point in time, man, that I wanted to give up. I wanted to give up on my dream. There was a time I almost wanted to give up on my life at one point, right? And so I remember, thinking like waking up like, dang, I used to try to wake up an hour early to work on the book. And then I would wake up, stay up an hour late to work on the book. And I remember sometimes waking up like, man, I don't feel like working on this book today, but I knew I should have got up that hour early. I knew I should have stayed up that hour late. But then when I started to think about the times that I almost wanted to give up, I started to think about all the people in the world that were going through what I was going through that felt like giving up on their dream or giving up on their life. And then that should turned into a must. And then I had to let my must outweigh my should. So instead of saying, I should get up an hour, no, I must get up an hour early. No, I must get up an hour late or stay up an hour late, because somebody needs what it is that I have. See, when something is important to you, you'll find a way. If not, you will always find an excuse. you know? And so I realized, yo, how important is it for me to get this book out? And I had to realize most people are coming out with a book because like, yo, I'm working on a book. That's what they'll say. No, 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 no. Why are you coming out with a book? Oh, well, I'm trying to build my brand. I'm trying to da. No, 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 no. Why are you coming? The purpose of you coming out with a book should be to be able to not just leverage your brand and everything like that. We know that, but no, it has to solve the solution to someone's problem. It's not about you. It's about you leaving your legacy off to others to be able to impact their lives. And
Yeah,
when
no,
you, you know what I'm saying?
absolutely. I think I remember the thing that pushed me sometime for creating content was, I think, Eric Thomas.
Mhm.
ET said something. He's just like, hey, when like it's not about you, right? It's not about you. It's about like who are you called to serve, and
Mhm.
that's what you're creating. I think you even told me that at one point. Like, and this is more, I guess, like a biblical, kind of like perspective of lens, which is like your sheep will know your voice,
Yeah.
right? You go with
Yeah.
the mindset of like who you're trying to serve, and then because you're releasing the message out, and that's a beautiful thing I think with podcasting, is that literally there's so many podcasts out there, but
Yeah.
there's few that people can really connect with the voice and feel like, wow, like that's somehow, some way,
Mhm.
this voice connects with me,
Yep.
vibrate at a different frequency that matches mine, and therefore like I can listen to this person, you know, um, without having to be like this person knows. John Maxwell said, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Mhm.
Right? Like I don't have to tell like I have this degree and this degree and this. Like I don't care.
Yeah.
I care that you care
Mhm.
about me to help me. And then after that, then I'm gonna ask you like, hey, so what? How do you know all this?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what
Yeah. Yeah.
credentials do you have?
Yep.
You
So many
know what I
people
mean?
are so focused on themselves and doing what they want to do that they don't realize that they sometimes can forget the purpose of why they even got started and doing what they wanted to do in the first place. You know?
Right, which is something that you have to get out the way before you can, get to that next level. So I kind of wanted to segue because you kind of opened that door there.
Mhm.
With kind of like a moment. So a moment where you were at your lowest.
Mhm.
What did you do to get out of it? Right. So take us there. Like the
Yeah.
moment you were at your lowest, what did you do to get out of it? I'm saying that because I know that a lot of people are currently in or
Mhm.
going in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Man, you know what? I
darkness.
can't even take credit for how I got out my lowest point because I just had certain people in my life that played a huge role. The number one person that played a huge role was my grandma. You know what I'm saying? Because growing up, I had my mom, I had my dad. Well, I knew my dad, and I was told that I was dumb and stupid. Told that I was never going to be anything or amount out to anything. And the thing is that my mom was adopted. The crazy part was that my dad was adopted too. So their rejection kind of brought about my rejection. And
Right.
then I remember being adopted by my grandmother when I was 7. And I would sit at the dinner table and my grandma would ask me questions like, "Yo, okay, what do you want to do with your life?" And I would say, I want to be an entrepreneur, be my own boss. And she would say, "Well, okay, why do you say the word but?" I was like, "Well, I was told that I was dumb and stupid and stuff like that." And she said, "Kevin, why do you walk in the opinions of other people when you can freely walk in the shoes of your greatness?" And I don't know why, but for the first time, that was something in me that made me feel like, yo, I went from being doubtful to determined that just maybe I could succeed against all odds. So then she says, Kev, you're not a product of what people think. You're not a product of what people say. You're a product of whatever you choose to believe. So the question is, Kev, what is it that you believe? And I was like, I don't know what to believe. And she said, you better figure it out because if you don't know what to believe, you'll only leave opportunity for the world to tell you. Again, something in me went from being doubtful to determined that just maybe I could succeed against all odds. So you fast forward time, she gave me a notepad and a pen. And she told me on one side, I want you to write down your vision. On the other side, I want you to write down your pain. You're going to one day turn that pain into purpose and it's going to help you to live out that vision. And I remember like as a kid, man, I was already always had a sensitive spot for words of negativity because since I was told I was dumb and stupid from my parent or my mom, anytime I heard bullying or negativity, it would break me. So I remember I would use my grandmom's encouragement and I would have all of these notebooks of all these writings in these journals and people would make fun of me like, Dad, Kevin, you look like you writing a book. And little do you know, you fast forward all these years later, that all those journals and all those notebooks would turn into 10 bestsellers. And
Nice.
so, although I was told I wasn't college material and that I was dumb and stupid, I now have colleges all throughout the nation who now purchase my materials. But I think what got me out from where I once was at that low spot was the encouragement from my grandmother, giving me the idea of something that I've never heard, which was to believe in myself. And I think the two tools that I would say is first her question of, well, what do you believe? And then the second thing was her giving me that notepad and that pen. And I literally began to write my vision. And as I wrote the vision, I felt like that was me writing my roadmap out of the sunken place that I was at to the dream of where I'm now living today.
Nice. Nice. I mean, I wrote a couple of things down, right? Because I wanted to interrupt. I was like, nah, you know what? I heard the story before, but for those that never, because I think I even remember of like, Les Brown, for those that don't know, he's a motivational speaker. He's one of the OG inside of like speaking industry, especially as an African American motivational speaker. That at some points we're speaking to like all white churches. He's like the only guy there, and he's a very deep voice, very charismatic, type of voice, and he had kind of the same beginning ish, right? He was told he was a what is it, EMR, educable, mentally retarded.
Yep.
It was taken from the 5th grade to the 4th grade, but only until a teacher, for him it was a teacher because he was adopted. The teacher told him never let somebody tell you who you are.
Yep.
And that shifted his entire approach because the power of words and what that has on somebody. And sometimes people, even I think as adults, right, like you kind of go into this rhythm of life and of wounds that you have as a kid, and you move up, and then you get to that place of now you have kids, but you still go on autopilot until even you get somebody as a grown adult, somebody telling you, I see you.
Yeah.
You're doing great. And it's the craziest thing you can see, because you can see some grown men even like out of a tear coming down, right? Because like they never got it. They never got the, hey, you did good. Hey, I see you. Hey, you're smart. Hey, you got this. Hey, you can still do it. Hey, you still have time. Hey, you don't have to be the statistics. Right. And I think that's the power of book. Like way back, I had a company that I started with a friend called Your Custom Story. That was probably like in 2012 that we're trying to do that, which was like, because we believe that every story has power, every story has potential, and every story can save somebody's life. And only rich people, when you go way back, who wrote their story? Rich people. Because they knew that they want their legacy to be remembered. Right. In the Bible, it talks about that as just like write it down on a tablet so it can be an everlasting witness. Like it's written, but you got to write it down.
It's creating legacy.
Legacy, because when Kevin is gone, I'm gonna look for, what did Kevin say? What are the Kevin's memoir? And you don't have to be a celebrity. You don't have to be, somebody that's like well known, for your kids to have something that dad said, that dad believed in, that dad researched. Right, because I think that has power, inside of it. So I had a quick question. You said something, and I was just like, hey, let me ask this question. Bestseller, right? What does it take for somebody? What does it take for a book to be a bestseller? Because I'm sure people are thinking about that when you said it, because it's such a, a buzzword out there. So what does it take for somebody to be a bestseller?
You have to be able to sell at least 5,000 copies within like your first week or 24 hours, depending on certain platforms. You got to be able to do it within 24 hours. Certain platforms, you got to do it within 7 days. And so now here's a little nugget with that. So one of my coaching programs is called 6-Figure Author Secrets. And so we share a lot of secrets. And so what a lot of people don't know, like they wonder like, yo, how is everybody and their mom a New York Times bestselling author? Now, my first few books were literally real bestselling authors. I became a bestselling author with Barnes and Noble, right? And what happened was, it's kind of like the music industry, right? If they come out with an album, they can actually buy 5,000 copies of their own album, right? And then guess what? They hit that chart list. So some people wonder like, yo, let's say your book is on, they ever see those ads where it's like, hey, just pay the free book, just pay the shipping. Yep, that's one. Or maybe you'll see like, hey, just pay this $1. The book is just $1. It's because guess what? If let's say they got 10,000 followers, all they got to do is get 5,000 of them to purchase the book for $1, right? And they hit that list. Or if you got $5,000 in your bank account and you just buy 5,000 copies of your book, guess what? You just hit bestseller list. And then what happens is you can screenshot that, and now you use that as a little bit of clout to be able to say, oh, yo, I'm a best-selling author. You know what I'm saying? And so that's honestly like the true game. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's I always talk about the rules of the game,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You and I play ball, right? Play basketball, and so you understand. It's just like if you don't understand the rules of the game that you're playing in, and if you're
Mhm.
playing outside on the playground versus playing indoor versus playing 24-hour fitness versus playing Lifetime,
Different. It's
but
totally different. Yeah.
everybody has different rules. And if you come in there thinking it's the same rule, you're gonna get in trouble,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
it's like getting, especially in entrepreneurship, right? Like you understand that. In coaching, you understand that. There's rules inside that game.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And you have to understand what those rules are, and then being able to operate in integrity inside of those rules. I think, especially in the coaching industry, and I think that's kind of where I want to take it, because I know you're passionate about that. I'm passionate about that.
Mhm.
Whereas like you see a lot of coaches or people that, for example, just started a business and and now they're teaching people how to start a successful business, but they literally haven't gone through any valley,
Yeah.
to know like the ups and downs. Or people teach about, oh, this is how you have a great marriage and great kids, great business,
Mhm.
and you only have one kid,
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
married 2 years,
Yep.
right? And charging like crazy amount of money, right?
Mhm.
So what's kind of like your thought on
Uh,
kind of the coaching industry
yeah.
and the trajectory that we in now that the AI revolution has started?
Yeah, I think everybody, because of the power of social media, I think that people get their opinions mixed in with being an expert. I think that everybody thinks that just because they can share their opinion, that they think they're an expert. And the thing is that now we all are an expert in something, and I'm speaking specifically to those who want to be a coach, right? If you haven't made six figures, you shouldn't probably be teaching people how to make six figures now, just yet, right? However, I'm confident that there's something that you've overcame and that you're an expert in something, right? So for you to even have the idea to want to be a coach, there's something in you that wants to help people. And you ultimately probably want to help people because you got helped in a particular area.
Right.
And that area you probably should have gotten help in by now. So like maybe you overcame self-doubt, maybe over like some type of insecurity, or maybe you succeeded in real estate, maybe that, or whatever it may be. You should begin coaching in the area of where you have succeeded or you have some type of credibility in first. You know what I'm saying? And I think what people feel is though, like, maybe, well, what I overcame might not be attractive. No, 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 no. Here's the thing. I don't go out my lane. I'm a book writing coach. I specialize in helping people write their books and monetize it into six figures or more. That's my lane, right? And people always wonder, well, Kev, how do we see you speaking in the NBA, NFL, you got corporate gigs, you partner with DC.gov, you're doing this and that. How do you do all of that? But you're a book writing coach. Listen, I can go into those elements because I dominated this area of book writing so well that when they bring me in, they're not necessarily bring me in to teach on their expertise, but to teach on the success principles that I've implemented.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They want the principles of success, And so I think that people should start with where they are, what they have overcame or what they have succeeded in first, and then allow themselves to grow. And if they can focus on adding, not just success, but if they can focus on adding value, money will always follow value. And then now, guess what? Now you become that six-figure coach, you become that six-figure speaker, and now I can go ahead and teach people how to do that as well.
That's
You see what I'm
awesome.
saying?
Yes, no, 100%. And I remember you and I had a conversation, and I still remember now. Like you're like, hey, Julian, but like, because I think it was about like charging for coaching, right?
Mhm,
Charging a high number for coaching. You're like, man, you spend $25,000, on coaches. You spend 5,000 on coaches. You spend $1,000 a month on coaching.
mhm,
Like all that is
mhm.
expertise that you have, and you pay your dues to get the knowledge
Yeah,
that you have.
yeah,
And also like in order for you to be willing to want to ask for what you are worth,
Mhm.
You have to be willing to pay that. Like it's not,
Yeah,
it's right. Like it's not like, hey, I'm gonna ask, you know, you want to work one-on-one with me, it's gonna be $5,000, but you're not willing to invest in a coach for
yeah,
$5,000.
yeah, yeah. Because you should have a track record. I should be able to, if I hire you as a coach, or I'm considering having you as a coach, listen, I should be able to ask you, well, so who coached you? Because when you do a consultation, it should be like a job interview. See, when people go on a job interview, they're so nervous and they're just hoping that they get the job that they forget that they get to interview the job. Like, hey, is this a good place that I should work? Well, hey, what do you like about the job? Hey, right. So you should be able to do the same thing with your coach or your consultant. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Hey, well, so who have you worked with in the past? And what are the biggest things that you've learned and that you take away? Right. So that way they can show that they have credible knowledge and being able to help get you from where you are to where it is that you want to be. You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's really, really key. I think that's really, really important to know. And because if I'm going to pay you five or $10,000, I want to know, when did you invest $5 or $10,000? Because that would at least give me a little confidence that if I invest $10,000 into you, that just maybe you have $10,000 worth of knowledge that can help me get $10,000.
Right, because you're compressing time. I think we talked about that is a concept of getting a coach allows you to go further faster,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you're compressing time, the amount of years that it took this person to get there, you're compressing it in a matter of like months,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
Because the coach is gonna be like, don't turn left, I've been there, turn right, and let's use this bridge to get from here
Mm-hmm.
to there. Right. I'm
Yep.
compressing the amount of time that it takes. And you're usually looking for a coach that is not 10 years further than you, but that is like 2 or 3 years because it
Yeah.
can connect to the pain that you have, right?
Yeah.
You get coaches
Yeah.
that's like, let's go out there. It's like, oh man, I
Yeah,
like
and that's the thing, like, you don't necessarily, like, you hit it on the nose, like, you don't have to be somebody, hire somebody, or and for the aspiring coaches, or if you're a coach now, I'm not saying like, oh, you got to wait till you 5 years deep in the game and you got to have six figures to be making it. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that you can become, like, watch this. If you have the answer to something, and like, I have a problem and you
right,
have the solution, but it's a guaranteed solution, guess what? You now hold value, right? So if we all looking for, like, Easter egg hunt, like, you know what I'm saying? If you know where the gold egg is at and
Mhm.
don't nobody else know, and you like, yo, I'll tell you where the egg is at, but you're gonna have to pay up, you hold the power. Am I right? You know what I'm saying? So if you really think about it, is people are going to gravitate to your knowledge because, oh, he knows where the gold egg is at. So I'm going to go where, who
Right.
knows? You know what I'm saying? So you're worthy of hire because you know something that I don't know.
Got it. What
You
is
know
the
what I mean?
difference between coaching and mentorship?
I would
Like people
say,
have a mentoring program, people have a coaching program. What's the
I would say mentorship is more so like guidance. You know what I'm saying? No, so I wouldn't even say, I would say it like this. I would say mentorship and coaching is pretty much the same thing. I think the difference is coaching and consulting. I think that's the one that a lot of people get twisted. Consulting is giving expert advice on a particular topic, right? Coaching is specifically me challenging the assumptions of my clients to bring the best out of them, helping them realize the answers that's within them.
got it.
Therefore, they can now be empowered, right? But when you think about mentorship is kind of like an overseeing guidance. You know what I'm saying? So, like, let's say, so if I had a mentoring program, my mentoring program is going to be like my group coaching program. So, like, it's group coaching. We jump on a call weekly, and guess what? I'm mentoring the group. I'm being but when it comes to coaching, like that one-on-one, I'm trying to challenge your assumption. I'm trying to get you to draw the best that's out of you. I'm not trying to help you realize your potential, right? But when it goes into consulting, I'm now giving you expert advice based off the knowledge that I know to be proven. And they
Beautiful.
all intersect. You know what I'm saying?
No, I think yes, I think they all do. I just think that sometimes there's confusion inside of it based
Yeah.
on expectation of what each one has. So
Yeah.
kind of like segue quickly into we talked about coaching and I was wondering like what was the time where somebody try to limit you inside of that space, inside of like your coaching business? And what did you do to be
Oh
able
man, I
to
get that. Man, I've
conquer that?
experienced that a lot, boy. Man, just from being raised in the church, I would like, what I'm saying? I experienced like Saul David moments where like you have somebody that you look up to, that you see that's your mentor, right? That's giving you that guidance. You have someone that's a coach that you would think that's striving to bring the best out of you. And then you have that consultant that's giving you expert advice. And then you realize that these people, some of them, not all, but some of them want to see you do well, but they don't want to see you do or be better than them. And some people see a lot of things. This is huge, man. We all have greatness inside of us. And sometimes your greatness can become intimidating to those who are not fully secure in their purpose. See, when you are secure in your purpose, you good, because you understand that your success is their success and their success is your success, right? You understand that you won't be able to reach everybody in the world. You know what I mean? But when you are not fully secure in your purpose, you will end up by default becoming a hater. This is what a hater is, right? Let's say me and you going to the gym, right? And let's say you out here lifting weights, right? And you just out here putting in that work. You got it going on. You know what I'm saying? And let's say I'm over here just looking at the weights, right? So now you come out here, you all strong and big, and you doing your thing. And then now, you know why I will start to hate on you? Is because I have the same ability to do exactly what it is that you did, but you gave effort, I gave excuses. And every time you come around, you are just a reminder of what I am not. You know what I'm saying? And so I will want to like kind of get you to dumb down who you are so that I can begin to feel more comfortable. You know what I'm saying? And so when you learn your worth, you stop giving people discounts. And when you start seeing your worth, you stop hanging around people who don't. And you can't feel bad for outgrowing people who had a chance to grow with you. That's how I look at it. You know what I'm saying? Mentorship is this too, bro. I learned this from my mentor, Mark Collier, is that mentorship is not all positive. Mentorship is negative too, meaning as though you can learn from people who show you what not to do.
Right. True.
You know what I'm saying? And so, but definitely I've been in spaces where you've been limited to what your potential or what you could do because some people might be intimidated.
Yeah. What qualities do you think makes you kind of like that person that can go through those obstacles, right? The one where somebody's trying to limit you in your business, or when obviously, yes, grandma tells you that, but I feel like we've all have received those nuggets or those ropes or those boats. For like the story of the guy's like drowning, like, no, don't save me, God will save me. And another boat comes in, like, no, don't save me, God will save me. You're like, dude, I just sent you like 5 boats. You didn't take them, and now you drown. Right?
Yeah.
It's like you get those moments, but there's some that decide to do something with it, right? And some that still don't do anything with it. And the gift came just like you and I. The gift came, we grabbed it. Some others like didn't. So so what do you think are those qualities for you that makes you that person that can, hey, I'm getting the opportunity, I'm taking it, or I'm getting this setback, but I'm not, I don't fall down and I get back up and then I move.
Yeah, I think that it's a couple of things. I think you gotta, for me personally, I was able to kind of get out of the woe is me moment and stop. I had to stop giving excuses, and because it's easy to say, oh, I'm not there because of this person or this gatekeeper or this is that. And that's not true. Like the thing is that there's a billion something people in this world, man. So it's like their audience is their audience, their situation is their situation. Create your own situation. And I was able to get out of that insecurity the moment I got insecurity of who I was creating called to be. And I chose to walk in my truth, right? And by walking in my truth meant also having to know the right timing when to walk in it. Because when you walk in the truth of who you are, it will set you free. But in order for it to set you free, you have to realize the lies that's holding you hostage.
Just in the book.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
And
sir.
I truly believe that some of the lies that hold us hostage is that, oh, I'm limited based upon this. No, the only limits that you have are the limits that you choose not to face. Because the moment you test your limits is the moment you will discover that you are absolutely limitless. You know what I'm saying? And nobody can stop you but you at the end of the day. You are literally your own greatest enemy. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it. I just use like my enemies or anything that's like trying to hold you back as stepping stones. You know what I'm saying? And so that's how I look at it.
I love it, man. So get out of the woes me moment and walk into your truth.
Walk in your truth.
Like being who you are, unapologetically be who you are, right?
Some people just don't know who they are though. That's the hardest part. See, it's not
Right.
who you are that holds you back, yo. It's who you think you're not. That's the biggest thing. It's who people think they're not that's holding them back.
Yeah, but I feel like sometimes like you have so many, yeah, and I talk about that with my wife often, which I say, and that's the reason, one of my mentor, challenged me to, and a couple of years ago, start to do that was I call like HTT, hour think time, right? My hour of think time, which is get away from all the technology, all the influence, all the notifications, right? Because with me, 6 kids, the businesses and all that is like, there's so much chaos all the time, so many
Mhm,
computer priorities, so many have to be a judge to so many
mhm.
situations with the kids, with the business, right? And so oftentimes your thoughts, you don't even know that your thoughts are not your thoughts
Yep.
because of so many influences around, right? So even who you think you are is actually not who you really are because you're actually being influenced. I think I share that with a book, right? The word S blank blank P. It's like
Yeah.
for some it might be soup, for some it might be soap, for some it might be snap, for some it might be soap. Like there's so many different things they can be, but it's based on what influenced you,
Yeah.
conditioned you, to
Yeah.
be. When you say that, I'm like, yeah, I guess some people like they believe they're this, but really it's not on their own choosing is because they got influenced to think that this is who they are, right?
Yeah.
Especially when you talk about the African American culture or even for me, like the immigrant culture, right? Coming to the US, like what they tell you you are, what you can and can't do,
Yeah.
right? Or me growing up, somebody tell me, my black friends tell me I'm white, my white friends tell me I'm black, and they're like, well, you don't have a country. And I had to get to that place of that's what they were telling me, but I had to realize that no, I'm mixed heritage and there's
Yep.
beauty in mix, right?
Yeah.
So I love it, man. So as we come kind of to the end of this, time together, what parting piece of guidance can you give someone and how can somebody reach out to you? You
Yeah,
want to
man.
give more info?
I think that what I'd say is that, like, whether you are striving to be a coach, a speaker, an author, listen, it's a fight. Like it's really a fight. It's this game ain't no joke. You know what I'm saying? Um, um, like right now, there's a lot of coaches that honestly were in panic because AI is coming out. You know what I'm saying? You can what am I gonna invest into uh this particular coach for? Like, why would I invest into a book writing coach? Let's say that, right? When AI can write it for me in 5 seconds, right? But the thing is that there's some AI is good, but it may not necessarily be able to teach you how to leverage and monetize the book into 6 figures too. You know what I'm saying? But then you have coaches like, oh, dang, man, the world is changing. Look at it like this. Remember when the internet first came out and everybody started losing jobs and everybody started tripping? But there were people who capitalized off of it, like Facebook, Instagram. We're going to create apps. We're going to create streaming, right? Always remember that entrepreneurship is is always like the answer or solution to a problem. In other words, wherever there is a problem, there's an opportunity to make money. And here's the thing, you have to understand that you were a purpose before you were a person. And purpose is the reason why something was created or done, but it is also the answer or solution to a problem. You are purpose. So by law, just by natural, you're like an entrepreneur. You were created to be able to solve a problem. You just have to find out what problem do you solve, right? And so it makes the fight a little bit easier because life is going to come at you with jabs of trials and entrepreneurship. It's going to come at you with hooks of pain, uppercuts of tribulation. Every now and then you're going to get hit with some low blow obstacles, right? That you didn't expect. It's inevitable to get knocked down, but it's optional to get back up. And you will realize that knockdowns are a part of life, not the ending of it. And when you realize, wait a minute, you hit me with everything that you had, but you didn't have the capability to knock me out. If you're still here, you know what I'm saying? You'll realize you're stronger than life's greatest hit. All you got to do is get back up and swing with purpose and punch back. You know what I'm saying? Punch back with that faith. You know what I'm saying? And understand that, like, yo, all things are possible as long as you can continue to believe and put in the work. Let your work ethic match the level of your faith, and you'll succeed against all odds.
That was my mic drop. You guys didn't see it.
Yeah, man.
All right. And so if somebody wants to get a hold of you, like where do you want them to go?
Yeah, man. So you can visit me at coachknox.com, CoachKKNOX.com. Or if anybody's interested in learning how to write a book in less than 30 days and turn it into a 6-figure income stream, they can go over to sixfigureauthorsecrets.com. Oh, and social media, Instagram. Hit me up on Instagram at Coach K Knox.
There we go. And you'll see him once we post the episode on Julian Inspires on Instagram. You know, Kevin is usually always there, so you'll be able to kind of catch him on there in the comments and ask him any questions that you might have, because like I said, he has a lot of knowledge. He used to also be a keynote writing coach. That's kind of how we got initially connected. So he has a lot of game, and oftentimes the people that you see with keynotes doesn't always come from them. Like, they can deliver the message, but the flow and sequencing inside of the message does not always come from the person delivering the message. So that just some golden nuggets.
Yeah. But yo, I appreciate you, man. I want to say thank you. I appreciate your time and invite me into your world, your platform, and with your audience, man. So big ups to you for that, man. And big ups to just what you are doing, man. Since having the opportunity to meet you and being able to see the growth, one of the things that I love about you personally, and yo, anybody that's listening, yo, I'm telling you, stay where you are. Like, you are planted in good soil. And the reason why I say that is because I could say personally, Julian is not someone that is just going through life. He's someone that's growing through life. And as you get planted in this soil, his roots will connect to your roots, and you all will begin to sprout and just grow into another level in your life. And like his book says, get it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything that's inside you, like, it's impossible to be around this good soil and what's inside you not be able to come out and succeed. So I just wanted to be able to share that love to everybody on this that's listening, but also to you as well, because you are literally a product of the words that I just spoke, man. So I appreciate you on that, man.
Yeah, we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, man, you got it.